So basically what we are saying is, when your users have questions on your data, momentary questions on your data, rather than looking at the traditional way of, making it available in the form of reports and dashboards, can we just have them ask a question, is there a better way to do it, where the responses are just pointed answers to questions, right? I mean, that's what we really call is, can we just have them ask, right? Like these kind of questions, say for example, if you're a health insurance provider, if during the claims processing, can they really ask questions like this? Or, say you have launched a new mobile app. When we are looking at the usage of it, can we just ask questions like, hey, show me the usage on mobile platforms? All these, I mean, again, these are all examples from some of the our implementations for our customers in the insurance domain or the healthcare domain and all that. This is how our customers kind of use these. Let me just at this let me just give you an example of what I really mean by that, right? So it's basically there are I mean, this is again a platform. I'll just talk about it more. So it's you have a very simple interface like the search box where I can just ask questions like, hey, this is on how our platform is being used. Hey, so I can just ask questions like this. So basically, for the questions, which were asked in our platform last month, I'm just asking it to be broken down by browser. Or I can even ask questions like, say, rather than, so what percentage of I mean, I'm just asking, a specific user and ask, hey, what percentage of the questions are from a specific user? So basically, rather than looking at a report or a dashboard, can we just have them ask questions like this, right? I mean, this is just one example. I can go and pick I mean, there is a whole bunch of data sets I can have, any data set, which you can have. Again, when we say a data set, this can be a very large warehouse behind the scenes and all that. I can just ask questions like, hey, so I can ask questions like these, and then the which just rather than building specific reports for, hey, let's look at the sales numbers by state and all that. Can we just maybe we are in a meeting or we are talking to a customer or there is a problem which I'm analyzing. Can we let the user just ask those pointed questions, right? I think more and more like a conversational stuff. I think very similar to what you might see in a chat GPT or a kind of interface, right? Can we build a similar interface, for data? That is that's the approach which we're really suggesting. And then in fact, that's what our platform what I'm showing here, Kia kind of provides. In fact, there is another version of it. It is almost like a chat interface. If you have used Microsoft Teams or Slack or anything, right? I can even engage in a conversation like this. Say I can pick the same data set, say the sales data set here. I can just go and ask, just like how I might be talking to human beings, right? I can ask a question, hey, so I ask a specific question. I can even continue it like this. So in this particular one, when I ask this question, like, how about California? It kind of, since it is more of a conversational stuff, it as it continues it from the previous context. We're just talking about sales here on this first quarter of 2018. It just, what it realized was, hey, we are just talking about California now. So previously it was Texas and California mean the same thing as a state. I'm just replacing it, right? So this is what we mean by, I mean, I thought I'll just show some example here before I get into it's more like having a conversation and then having an interface very similar to chat gpt, a generative AI based stuff. But the underlying stuff is your own data. These are all data sets, specific to your, I mean, we have customers from the health insurance and then health care and all these people using it. Basically what they do is, this interface kind of sits on top of their lake house or the warehouse, and then it kind of responds back to questions like this, to the users, right? So that's what I mean. But when we have questions like these, rather than producing a whole bunch of dashboards and reports, which users would still use to get those answers. And the problem with that approach is that there are just way too many users. Sometimes we just end up creating way too many metrics, too many dashboards, and all that. Rather, let's why can't there be a simple interface very similar to a search engine where users have, based on their need, based on that particular scenario and context, why can't we just let them ask a question, right? I think that's the whole idea behind this. In fact, I mean, there is just one statistics I've also I think there is more and more, especially with the advent of with the popularity of chat GPT like interfaces. I think a similar interface, there is a very high chance, opportunity for a similar interface to get really popular because, as I said, right, for any of our personal information needs, we rely on the popular search engines to provide answers like these. So rather, can't we have a similar experience even for enterprise data? That's the whole idea behind this, right? And the another thing is also making it a language interface. You also have an ability to, you're not necessarily limited to the technical names or the column names and all. You can use your own, I mean, there can be a vocabulary. You can define synonyms, two or three words, meaning the same thing, and then you can still let the business users ask the questions using terms which they are really familiar with and all that. I think it also solves this very important problem around um, business glossary and data vocabulary and all that, right? So I mean, say for example, if the answer is, the question is something like this, hey, which region is really doing well in product XYZ? The one way, the traditional way, which many of us are consuming data is like basically there is a dashboard and there is a particular metric which would help me get that answer. Or the other one is, hey, can I just ask a question similar to what I was just telling, say if I go back to, even this interface, so if I ask, hey, so it's I say that, I mean, by sales, now it's going to respond back saying, hey, it is basically the West region. And, with this amount and 35% share, this is the most popular region. Rather than, me trying to get trying to interpret that, using a visualization like this, can I really ask that question? It is almost like conversing with somebody. When we ask I think, we're just going to get those pointed answer. It's just that it is a lot more perfect in the sense, you just get the pointed answer, as well as the interface kind of responds back in numbers and visuals, which we can also use, right?